I'm Greg Bishop. I'm joined in studio by State Representative Mike Murphy, and I think that, do we still call him that, even though he's not the state representative? Yesterday was official. He's no longer the state rep for the district, and he's now the leader of the Greater Springfield Chamber of Commerce, and he joins us here live in studio. Representative, thanks for taking time with us. How are you?
I'm doing great, Greg, and you can call me anything you want, buddy.
Okay, well, I'll just call you Mike. It's good to have you. I wanted to talk with you and Chris at the same time. Maybe we can reach back out to Chris and talk with him as well. But you've got a new role as the leader of the Greater Springfield Chamber of Commerce. So before we talk about what you're going to do in that position, let's talk about getting a little bit of an exit interview of sorts. So you were a state rep for several years. And you won election. You went through some pretty tumultuous times. You dealt with all of the COVID situations. As somebody who came from the hospitality and dining industry, what's your take of being a state rep?
Well, it was a great time. Actually, I stated many times that it was the best thing I've done professionally so far in my career. And I have an opportunity to maybe better that now in my new position. But the 3 years that I was a state rep, and actually the 1 year prior to that running for state rep, so it's been a 4-year process, was just wonderful times. They weren't all great days. You know, as you well know, you're down there every day with me, and some days we get our teeth kicked in. But Greg, I never didn't look forward to going to work. I loved it. I loved working with my colleagues, other 118 members of the House and the 59 members of the Senate. I loved working with the executive branch, even though sometimes we disagreed vehemently. But what I really enjoyed was being able to work with the constituents. You know, we went through some tough times at the beginning. I thought we were trying to help them with things, and then COVID hit. Right. And then I realized how important our office was to help the people navigate, you know, the red tape that they were going through with COVID. And, you know, you mentioned I came from the hospitality industry. I would challenge anybody to come up with an industry that was more affected by COVID than the hospitality industry.
You were one of the first people I called after the pandemic.
You want to know something? The day the restaurants got shut down, the governor called me at 7 o'clock in the morning. We had a half an hour talk. He was concerned, and you know, some people were very critical of him. You know, we can always be Monday morning quarterbacks and decide what should have been done. He made a decision. I wasn't fully on board with it at the time, but I did talk with him for a half an hour, and we talked about things to do, and something came out of that. I ended up working with the treasurer, and we had a bridge loan program developed that provided $250 million worth of loans at low interest to zero interest for people at $10,000. And the reason I came up with that was I knew that when we came out of that, and I was hoping it was 3 or 4 weeks, not over 2 years, I knew that the businesses was going to need some money to get started back up. Because, you know, I told the governor, I said, I paid with this week's groceries with the last week's sales. And in 4 weeks, when I thought it would be over, they won't have last week's sales. And so we worked together on that. And things like that I will always remember. I remember those better than the days where we couldn't get any votes to get legislation through.
Sure. What is your greatest accomplishment in your time as a state rep?
Well, I would go back to constituent service, and I got to give a big shout out to Ryan Melchin and Courtney Asmus, were in my office. They dealt with the thousands of calls all the time, and we were able to help people, you know, get the services they deserved, whether it was having trouble getting unemployment insurance, or we had many people with FOID issues, and we had some very heartbreaking issues with DCFS that we had to deal with. And so I look at those. I think, you know, when we had the big freeze and Valentine's Day weekend.
Oh, it's right, last year.
Yeah, and I had 4 communities who went to bed on a Friday night paying like $4 or $5 a unit for natural gas, and they woke up and it was $250, and it got up to over $500. I was able to once again work with the governor, and we were able to come up with a loan program. So there would have been residents facing up to $2,000 bill for that month. And what we were able to do is provide the municipalities the money so they could pay that monthly bill. and then spread that cost over several years. And I think when I look back, that was a tough time. I was on the phones from Sunday all the way through a Wednesday till we got the program put together. I mean, constantly. It's 12, 14 hours a day talking to different people. And I think I was pretty proud of that moment.
We're talking with State Representative Mike Murphy, who actually stepped down from his position. The official day that happened was yesterday, Wednesday.
Actually, Tuesday night at 11:59.
Okay, well, if you want to be that technical, yes. Now you're right. 11:59 Tuesday evening, just before Wednesday morning. But you talked about constituent services. You talked about your legislative team fielding tons of phone calls. I can't imagine being on that side of the phone. But you also took some controversial votes.
Yes, I did.
So talk about the tax increases that was a very controversial issue back in 2019.
Right. The end of May, first day of June, we had 2 issues that I voted for, and I was in the minority of my caucus who did that. The first was the budget. I took a yes vote on the budget, and the reason I did that was when I ran on the platform. I was there to help business. And going in as a freshman, you have high expectations. You're going to be able to change the world, and you realize it's tough to get things through. And I had some good bills, I thought, but I couldn't get any traction with them. Well, our leader Durkin, was able to negotiate 10 business incentives. Some were incentives, and some were just stops where they took their hands off trying to hurt us. And but to get those 10. They wanted a bipartisan budget, so they said they wanted 10 Republicans on the budget. I didn't like the budget. There was stuff in the budget I wasn't going to vote for, but I really love these 10 issues. So when the leader walked in and said that, I said, I'm one. And he goes, we don't want any freshmen on that because it's going to be controversial. And I said, can't use the exact words I said, but I said, do I look like a freshman? I said, I came here to help business, and if I don't vote yes, I'm a hypocrite. I said, let whatever happens to me, but I got to help the businesses that I came here to support. So I did. I took that, and then the next day we voted on a capital bill, and the capital bill was very important to the 99th district in Springfield, Illinois. And I didn't like the 19 cents gas tax. We were negotiating. We were in single digits at one time, and then agreed maybe 12 cents we could live with, and they were at 24 cents at one time, I believe. And we got it down to 19. It wasn't great, but also you got to realize it hadn't been raised in like 20 years. So we were trying to fix roads on old money, and so I took that vote. But I will argue that it was the best thing for the 99th district in Springfield. And you can drive around the Capitol and see some of the projects that's going on. And the 3rd Street rail moving over the 10th Street, I would have voted for it just for that, because Greg, that's going to be transformational. And now in my new job, I'm so excited that I did take that vote, because once that 3rd Street rail gets over the 10th Street, you're going to see changes in the medical district like you wouldn't believe.
Looking forward to hearing more about that. We're talking with former State Representative Mike Murphy here on the WMAY Morning News Feed now at 7:19. One last question in the exit interview, so to speak. What's the biggest frustration you experienced being a legislator?
Well, the biggest frustration is I was in the super minority, and so we had, you don't know how many times, or you probably do because you were down there, I'm sorry, that we won the debate and lost the vote. I mean, if you would
in committee or on the House floor,
yes,
or
and, there was times that I'm sitting there and it said, I wish we had a debate teacher who could score this, because we would have won. We won, but we just didn't have the votes. We had 45 votes. They had 73 votes. There was times we were able to get some things stopped. Especially during veto session. That's when the field's a little bit more level when they have to get 71 votes. That's a lot more fun. But, that's the frustrating part, that I knew we were on the right side. We were on the side best for Illinois and the best for the citizens, but we just didn't have the votes to do it. And it wasn't because we lack of trying to convince them. Because like I say, I challenged some people to go back and listen to some of the debates on some controversial issues and tell me that we didn't win the debate.
Mike Murphy with us on the WMAY morning news feed. So no longer a state rep, now leading the Greater Springfield Chamber of Commerce, replacing Chris Embro.
I've upgraded, Greg. My title now is President CEO.
Oh, look at that.
So I told all my colleagues when I was leaving, I said, I never expected anybody to call me representative, but I expect all you guys now to call me Mr. President. Just kidding, of course. My name's
Mr.
Mike.
President,
my name's Mike. No, that was just to my House members. I told that to. No, Greg, you can always just call me Mike.
So, what can we expect? Anything new? Anything innovative? Are we changing directions, or just going full steam ahead?
Well, we're going full steam ahead. Wonderful. I had inherited a tremendous staff. We have 4 people there, and the amount of number of years for 3 of them is amazing. How long they've been down there. So I'm just trying to keep the momentum going straight. Yeah, I have some ideas, but I'm not going to implement those today. Yesterday I finally figured out how to use my computer and answer the phones and change my voicemail message. And so, we're going to take it one step at a time. But I will tell you this, Greg, Springfield has great potential. Sometimes we get in our own way. Sometimes we're too negative about ourselves. We got to look at the positive things. We got some unbelievable things being the state capital. I've already talked to the governor's office about downtown Springfield and how we got to keep the jobs there. And I'm going to be working with them a lot. Like I mentioned earlier, the medical district is going to be a national medical district when we're done. There's no doubt in my mind with that. I believe that to the core root of my body. And we just got some unbelievable local independent businesses here that just need to be able to survive. And so I'm going to be working every day to help them do that. And let's get the positive message out about how great Springfield is. And it is a great town. We do have some problems. We do have some flaws, but let's overcome those.
Representative Mike Murphy, no longer a representative, now the president and CEO of the Greater Springfield Chamber of Commerce. Real quick, does this any way cross over the line of the revolving door issues with legislators becoming lobbyists?
No, I won't be a registered lobbyist. And I won't be lobbying, obviously, as a member for an entity, which is illegal. So, no, I think that I'm going to be an advocate, yes. And so I will be talking to the members of the House and the Senate and the executive branch. But, in my opinion, it's not a revolving door issue. The majority of my time is going to be keeping 1,300 members happy. And working with them on their particular issues. But yeah, I'm going to.
Which is, there's 13.
We're the second largest chamber of commerce in the state of Illinois.
Wow. And it's not just Springfield; it's
the Greater Springfield.
Around, right?
Yeah, we go out in the county, and we actually leave the county and have some members outside the county as well. I think being the chamber in the state capital is unique as well because we have some people who come to work here. In regards to government, I have to be involved with state government. They have 17,000 employees. They're our largest employer in Sangamon County, and so I'm going to be involved in state government. But I'm going to take advantage of my ties. Yes.
I appreciate that. Mike Murphy with us. Greatly appreciate your time, and we'll definitely talk again soon because the issue of business is obviously when businesses are succeeding, the community succeeds.
Greg, I've always appreciated you. You will ask some tough questions, but you're always fair. And I always enjoy seeing you down there on the rail, and we can at least smile to get a smile back from somebody that day.
Well, if you can see my face, that is. We'll see. Appreciate that. We'll talk again soon, all right?
Anytime, Greg.
Mike Murphy, former state representative, now the president and CEO of the Greater Springfield Chamber of Commerce here on the WMAY Morning News Feed. All right.